Hey friends, it's Rosalind. Welcome back to our gardens and our tiny farm. It is the last full weekend in May and there's some gorgeous things that are currently in bloom. So I wanted to just walk through the garden together and look at everything that is blooming before they start fading away. So come on in. We are going to start out here by the perennial cut flower garden, which is right out here by the road. So I call it our welcome garden because we have our roadside flower stand right there. And in October of 2023, I decided I want to create a garden that welcomes our customers as they stop by. So there's actually not a whole lot in bloom in this garden right now, except for the iris and the alliums. I planted the iris in here 2 seasons ago, and this is the first season for the gladiator alliums. But oh my goodness, this is Beverly Sills iris, and it smells like vanilla. It is such a pretty, soft color. As we walk into the entrance of this garden, there is an earth angel rose on each side of the pathway, and then it is backed up. The earth angel roses aren't in bloom just yet, but it is backed up by Betty Corning clematis on each side, and it has these flowers that just started blooming. They remind me of little fairy hats. Aren't they so sweet? As we walk underneath this arbor, there is a couple of roses, unfortunately, that did not make it through the winter. The Coca Loca roses on each side of this pathway. So I already do have some very beautiful roses to replace them with. So I can't wait to share that with you. But the Southern Charm Verbascum on each side of this pathway has just started blooming. And these were started from seed using the winter sowing method, which is so fun. We are going to walk out to the back cut flower garden, but first we have to take a moment and look at the pink lemonade baptisia. I absolutely love baptisia and really need to make more room for it in the gardens, but aren't those colors so pretty? Before we head over to the back cut flower garden, we're first going to take a look at the things that are blooming in the patio garden. The foxglove are all budded up, just getting ready to bloom. This is the only one that is currently blooming. But my big leaf hydrangeas also took a big hit from the harsh winter that we had. But this, oh my goodness, you guys, started this from seed using the winter sowing method. This is double blooming columbine. Aren't those blooms so pretty? So this is the little corner that I had talked to you guys about turning into maybe just a little seating area right here. Take all of those flagstones and maybe just create a little sitting area there. I think it would look a lot better because this garden is like all of our electric wires and everything come back in here. So it's kind of hard to dig for plants. So I thought maybe just a little sitting area would make it look a lot better. What do you guys think? Okay, the patio garden is looking a little harsh right now. We are working on adding in another like campfire sitting area over here. Um, and the planters don't have any flowers in them yet because we had frost just last week. And so I've just been a little hesitant in getting all of the annuals planted. But this is the area that I really want to turn into a hydrangea room, and we are slowly working on it. We have a couple of hydrangeas planted back in here, but you can see the foxglove are all starting to bud up back in here as well. So this is another area that we will be working on this summer. I have to show you this view from the patio garden because I think it's one of my favorite views on our whole property, because you see all of the back cut flower garden, you can see the greenhouse, garden house. Oh, such a lovely view. All right, here we are in the back cut flower garden. There's not a whole lot of blooms right here in this particular space. Back here we have our dahlia patch, but the dianthus down below are just starting to bloom, looking so sweet. But you guys, oh my goodness, I wish I would have a picture of what this looked like 3 years ago, when maybe I can find a picture for you guys, but 3 years ago when I posted the very first YouTube video. I was so excited, just the love of flowers. Wanted to share the love of flowers with everyone. But oh my goodness, like it is a totally different garden. We have just started putting in a picket fence and it's not finished yet, as you can see. But let's walk around this way and then we will come back down this pathway and look at everything that's blooming around the front of the border. Again, there's just so many things that are getting ready to bloom, like all of the roses. Can you see them all budded up? The forget-me-nots down below are blooming. But these alliums against the white fence look so pretty. So this is what I would like to do this fall, is just have a whole bunch of alliums planted on both sides of the front of the cut flower garden. Planted a Duchess of Edinburgh clematis. I planted this one yesterday, and it'll be right behind the Harlow Carr rose. I think these two together, that bright pink of the rose and this white cream color of the clematis with those double blooms, will be so pretty together. Behind this dwarf evergreen, there is the blue star Amsonia, which looks so sweet just waving in the wind. But again, the roses and the hollyhocks, even the lilies are all starting to bud up. The clematis, this is a Giacometti clematis, which every gardener needs at least one of these in their garden because they are so beautiful when they're in bloom. So in another probably week or two, everything is just going to be bursting in bloom. The Sarah Bernhardt peonies are budding up. And you guys, oh my goodness, my favorite poppies are blooming. These are the salmon oriental poppies. The honeybees are usually all over this flower, but it's just started blooming. You can see it's fully budded up. Love that flower. Creeping phlox down below. And this is a creeping phlox. I don't know, I got it from a friend, and it blooms like all season long. The butterflies adore it. But as we continue on down this border, we have brought the picket fence over to here. So now we just need to bring it along the back side of this border. Some of you have been asking what we are going to be doing with this middle part of the garden, which is right in front of the greenhouse. So we have to right where those holes end. All of that is planted up with vegetables. But let me bring you around again. So as you walk into this opening of the garden, this is where all of the vegetables are planted. And we do have some raised beds on each side. But right in here, as you walk into the garden, this side of the garden will be eventually filled with raised beds. So that's what we are going to be working on this summer. I think it'll be very pretty just having this completely filled with raised beds in front of the greenhouse. All right, back to where we were at. There is one poppy currently in bloom. The rest are all budded up. And the iris, there's one bud right there, but I can smell it. Oh my goodness. There's just like this soft scent in the air, like kind of like vanilla and maybe a hint of lilies. All of these peonies are starting to bloom, bud up. But you guys, oh my goodness, I think this is my favorite current view in the garden. The Carl Rosenfeld peony is just starting to open up, but then we have Baptisia, and the Baptisia is backed up by lupin that we had started from seed. Oh my goodness. Oh, they're so pretty. The viburnum, blue muffin viburnum, is currently in bloom, but this, if you don't have a 9-bark in your garden, you really need to get one. They have like this wispy way of, I don't know, their branches are just so wispy, and the blooms are absolutely stunning. They usually bloom for a couple of weeks. Even after the blooms fade, it still looks so pretty. Also, the sweet peas that we planted on the obelisks a couple of weeks ago are doing so good. Some of them have actually started slowly climbing up the obelisk, which is so fun. Hopefully in another month or so, we should have blooms from them. But here we are at the entrance of the greenhouse. I finally got some of the firelight hydrangeas planted in here, a rose on each side, kind of offset from the hydrangeas. This is the Forever Amberness, I think that's what it's called, rose. Oh, so pretty. And all of the gladiolas that we planted up together have come through the soil. Oh, so exciting. The planters in front of the greenhouse that we planted up together, was it 2 weeks ago? Or was it just last week? They have already put on some size, looking so sweet. And the ranunculus in these raised beds are pretty much done blooming. I mean, they're already starting to fade away, but we got so many bouquets off of the ranunculus. We are going to end up back in the greenhouse, but I did want to come around this corner of the garden first. The bistro set that we just picked up earlier this week, and I won't go into the herb garden because we planted that up together just a couple of days ago. But if you're wanting to see everything that is planted in here, because there's lots of flowering herbs, it's going to be beautiful this summer, you are welcome to go back and look at that video. Actually, I will link it in the description so you guys can go back and see it. The pansies are still in the planters. I have a hard time taking out pansies when they're still looking good. So even the window boxes up here still have the pansies in them. The alliums are looking so pretty against this fence as well. This was the Persian Starlight mix, I believe. You see that there is some white alliums in this mix, which is going to be very pretty. So fun just seeing all of that purple. Some more of the oriental poppies in bloom on this side of the garden. And these are the hydrangeas, the stormproof incredible hydrangeas that we planted together just a couple in the past couple weeks. We planted those. We have the whole border lined with alyssum, which will be very fun to see fill in. I think it's going to be very pretty as it spills out over the border, kind of. And here's a peek at the pansies, probably the last peek that we will see, because I do plan on planting all of the summer annuals this weekend and probably next week. But the alyssum we planted together last week is looking very sweet in its basket. Another peek at the oriental poppies, because pretty much all of these are in bloom, but at sunset or at sunrise, I don't know, it just seems like they're glowing. They're so pretty and sweet. I almost forgot to share this allium with you. Is it Cillian Honey? It's such a unique allium. There's another one planted over here. I had planted 5 of them, but for some reason, we only have 2 of them that actually came up. Let's walk back down this direction to the greenhouse. Oh my goodness, you guys, like this view brings tears to my eyes because just last summer, none of this was here. We had put some raised beds back in here. We weren't totally sure what we want to do with this space. Sorry, the roosters are kind of loud. They went in on the conversation, I guess. But I have to throw some pictures up because it is so different from what it looked like last summer. Some of you have been asking to see a bit more of the greenhouse, so I thought we would just walk inside, take a little peek. The boys do have their toys out here. They brought their dragons and their cars out here. We're playing. This is where we often sit to have our morning coffee. I did plant a jasmine plant right beside this chair because it just perfumes the whole greenhouse. As we turn this way slowly so I don't make you dizzy, there is still a lot of things that need to get planted out into the garden, but it's thinned out quite a bit already. And I think this was my favorite find for the greenhouse so far. This closet, found it at an antique garage sale for $25. I want it to be like a cabinet that is filled with vases and seasonal decorations. So I'm already thinking of what it will look like on the top, decorated for Christmas with like Christmas greens. Do you remember the Bathsheba rose that we picked up a couple weeks ago in one of our greenhouse trips together? Look, it started blooming. Isn't that amazing? It smells very nice as well. In this corner, I still have some strawberries that need to get planted out. This was the first time that I ever planted strawberries from seed, and it was a very fun experiment. Well, friends, thank you for walking through the gardens with me. It's always a pleasure to just walk through the gardens together and chat. But next week, we are going to be hopefully getting all of the summer annuals planted out together and getting some summer containers planted out, which will be very fun. Have an amazing week in your own gardens, and I will see you right back here real soon. Bye.